Hey everybody, I'm back. Video 28 of 365. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist. And I'm doing a video a day for a whole year to work on getting over my social anxiety and my fear of public speaking and just all that fun stuff. So I hit 96 subscribers just a little bit ago. I'm almost at 100. I cannot believe it. That is so awesome. So thank you for subscribing and for all your comments and such sweet comments I've been getting. I really appreciate it. And I just appreciate everyone watching and also listening to the meditations, because that's why I put them on the channel, is to just help people relax. I want to disrupt your thought patterns and help you relax so you can start creating the life that you really want. And if you need help with that, I do one-on-one guidance and coaching and mentoring, whatever we want to call it. And it is not therapy, it is just more coaching to help you get over your limiting beliefs about yourself. And change those thought patterns that are possibly hurting you in some sort of way. And we don't want that. So this is the third time I recorded this video. The first time it cut off because my phone died. And yesterday, this little guy didn't turn on because, well, I hadn't plugged it in. So until the end, and I noticed. And yeah, so it's been a fun month of learning all these things and just trying to get everything together. The second time I started filming, my cat was in it, which I got a request for more of my cats. And I was like, oh, cool, she's in the shot. Well, then I had a timer go off again. And so I'm going to have to make sure that my alarms, timers, everything is good. So if you're starting a channel, make sure that everything is all charged up. Make sure everything's plugged in. Even when I do that, it seems like something happens. So I'm a mess today, but it's okay. So I'm filming this video and we're getting it up. Gosh dang it. So yesterday I started talking about viewers' questions. I had a viewer that had asked a few questions or made a few comments. And so I printed them off and I decided to kind of, read through them and answer them and kind of respond. So today's the second day of doing that. So I'm going to go to, let's see. They said, if there's no such thing as time, then how come you keep telling us to not live in the past? And I have a tendency to go off in the weeds with everything. I could talk about each one of these things for an hour a piece, at least, and talk about quantum physics and talk about neuroscience and all the stuff that I've learned over the years. And my main thing about the past, when I'm referring to the past, it's mainly the past self, because the past self contains all of this from the past. It's just And so we don't want to think that old way unless it serves us. And most of the time, the old way doesn't serve us. It's not the identity that we actually want to be. So that's mainly what I'm saying about that. And that time is only now. So we're only in one eternal now moment. I learned that from Eckhart Tolle mostly. I mean, I've heard it from other whatever you want to call them, gurus. But I love Eckhart Tolle, and he just says, we have one eternal now moment. That's all that we have. So I stuck with that. So the stuff on my channel that I want to talk about is mostly things that have worked for me, obviously, and have worked for other people that I've met with, clients and other people that I've coached in the past. These are the principles that I find that work really well. I encourage, I want to be a seed planter, so I'm going to plant seeds. And then if you question something, ask me and I'll see if I can answer it in a going off in the weeds way. But go out and, people that I recommend to go read their stuff. If you're super curious, just go read their stuff. I could talk about all of this for a long time, but I think it would take me off of my purpose of the channel. Which is to keep things very simple and very streamlined, because I am a big person where I do enjoy going off into the weeds and going off on tangents and spending a lot of time talking about these subjects. I would love to talk, and debate and challenge each other all day long on these things. And I can do that. But I also want to keep the channel very simple, because I think that we are, I know I was addicted to information. So I realized the importance of simplicity so much, and what really worked for me most and other people that I've worked with. And so I thought, well, simplicity is best. There's only one now moment. What do I choose to do with it? And the past is the past self. What is it that I used to think in the past that I, don't need to be thinking right now? What can I reprogram in there? So that's kind of what I mean by that. And then I'll get to that one in a second. And then you had also said, don't get me wrong, I love your channel. Thank you so much. And you said, and I believe you're a source of good. Thank you so much for that. And I will continue to send you love, but I'm also the type to question. And I love that. And remember that what you say that you are, you are. So if you're the type to question, you'll question everything, which I think is great if it works for you. Some people I know overthink. And I know I was one of those people. I was an overthinker. And I was like questioning everything. And then that got me to a point where I was like not moving forward. I was stuck. I didn't have the life that I wanted. I was spiraling in certain areas. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go back to simplicity. And I'm going to go back to just these basic principles that really work for me. So I challenge you to challenge that thought in yourself where you say, I'm the type to question. Do you want to stay that type, or do you want to go to a different new self? You might want to stay that type, and that's great if that works for you. Did not work for me. I was an overthinker, and it ended up hurting me. So, and then I got overwhelmed by information, which is another reason why I didn't start this channel too sooner, because I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. I was like, I know what I love, but I thought I had to choose a niche and, all these things. And, I realized I didn't really have to do that. So, I just learned all these things, tried to put them together. They didn't fit very well. So I kept overthinking, and it got me in a place of, being stagnant and being, and procrastinating. So overthinking doesn't work for everybody, but sometimes it does. And questioning things works for everyone. And for some people, and some people it doesn't work for. So whatever you want to do, you just be yourself, And when I say be yourself, again, like some people, if you're happy being your full self and there's nothing you want to change in your life, then continue on the path. If there are things you want to change in your life, question, what am I thinking on a daily basis that's getting me the results I'm getting? And that's what I just encourage everyone to look at. And then remember that there's no logic to manifestation. It's amazing. We have to observe our thoughts and observe our feelings, but we are not those things. We're just observers of them, and we're observers of the world. And we don't have to be, like we're in the world, but we don't have to be of the world. You just observe it and you pick and choose and decide what's true for you. So we manifest from being, not doing. So, and when I learned that, I thought, well, that's a lot easier than doing something. We have to be it. You decide what I am. I am this. I am this now. I am this now. I am not an overthinker. I'm a person who blah, blah, blah. You decide who you are every moment and be it. And you teach your body before it happens how that would feel to be a certain type of person. Just like Joe Dispenza says, it's like you have to get over the habit of being yourself and teach your body how to feel like it's in a future self, basically. And it's like pretending. And I would rather pretend than be depressed, or pretend and be anxious, So yes, it's a little delusional, of course. Do I need to go to the funny farm? Hey, some people might think so. Yeah, I pretend all day. Not all day, but you know what I mean. You pretend when you think about it. Like, as soon as you can feel your mood going down because you don't have something you want that's external, you go inward and you create a feeling of, no, I do have it. I actually do have it. I feel like I have it now. I feel like I have it. No, I have that. And it starts to bring your mood back up. That's the whole point. And that's why, again, I wanted to keep things very simple on this channel, talking about imagination and the now moment is all we have, and pretending, creating a scene in your mind and looping it right before you go to sleep, 10 to 15 seconds. How would it feel to be this new identity? How would that really feel? And also, one more comment that was made too. This was a very important one. You had said, but don't humans need community for happiness? Science even proves this. How can one be happy if they're older and single with barely any real friends? That one is close to my heart. Oh my gosh, so close to my heart. Community is, it's actually very interesting because I started a little small group, and then I was on Facebook, and then I got off Facebook. And so I'm bringing that group with me to the next group, and I'll probably start a school group or something. I think community is important to learn from each other for the people that want to be, the people that want to be in it, of course. Science does show that we need community, yes. But again, if you go back to quantum physics and physics in general, it's weird, but they say, you're the only one in your world. And then, yes, people are real, but you're projecting, you're projecting what you're thinking onto them, and they're mirroring it back. And so, if someone is older and single with barely any real friends, if that person is older, single, barely without any friends, and they want friends, and they want a partner, and there's pain associated with it, then that's when you go into your imagination and you decide who you want to be. Maybe you don't want to be single. Maybe you want friends. So you start to think from that identity instead of the other identity. This is the whole point. Science says this. Science proves that. Yes, I get that. Totally. I'm with you on the science thing. Like I said about my, my doctoral program, and I did my own study, and I'm all for studies. All for it. But again, to keep things simple, get out of logic, go back into your human, or not your human, but your mind, your imagination, and start creating from there instead of looking for everybody else's data. Don't look at everybody else's data. Don't worry about everybody else's data. Don't worry about it. Like, it's logic. I get it. And I'm right there. And I'm right there with you. I used to be the one that was like, well, science says this, and everybody would be annoyed. They're like, I don't give a shit what studies say. And I'm like, but this study says this, and we need to not do this, and we need to do this instead. And I annoyed myself after a while. So I just learned that it's more fun to create your own data. Literally. Don't worry about other people's data. And create and I'll teach you guys, if you're needing help with this, this is the whole point of my channel, is to teach people how to generate the feeling that they're trying to generate, or that they would want to generate, looking externally at their world and what's reflecting back. We want to create our feelings from the inside, from the internal, instead of looking external for that. So we technically don't need community, but it's just like a cherry on top. Technically we don't need it, but I think we do want it really bad. I think a lot of humans do, but I know a lot of humans that don't want community at all. So everybody's so different. But whatever it is that you want, that's what you have to go inside to create. And again, do not look at other people's data. Do not worry about other people's opinions. You go inside yourself. And I want to train everyone to do that. Go inside instead of looking externally. So that's the biggest lesson. There's no logic to it. Remember, there's no logic. The human brain is not logic, or it's too logical. The spirit mind, the higher self, it knows everything. The human mind is like, well, this isn't logical, and this is logical, and it's programmed by us. So we don't want to go there. That's programmed from an old us. Let's go to the higher self and receive the information. Go watch a meditation of mine to really get into some sort of, relaxed state in any way. Watch it for just a few minutes if need be, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just get into a relaxed state and see how you feel from that. And try that every day, and you'll see a big difference in yourself. I promise you. So I'll dig deeper into this stuff more tomorrow, but I'll go ahead and end because we're at 14 minutes already. So, but thank you so much for asking all these questions, and thank you for listening to my rambles. And I can easily talk about this stuff for hours and hours, but I want to keep it as simple as possible to tell you to go back inside your own mind and create whatever it is that you want from there, and knowing that you do not need anything external to make you feel a certain feeling at all. It's just the icing on top of the cake that you've already baked. It's the cherry on top of your sundae. You don't need the cherry. You don't need the icing, but it makes everything taste better, and it's more fun. So So yeah, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day or evening, whatever time it is where you are. And I love you all. Thank you so much for everything. And maybe the next time I'm on here, I'll be over 100 subscribers. Thank you so much. You guys have a great day. Bye.